What's up, guys? It's Brian from Astro Hub. It's about 9:49 p.m. Eastern Time, April 8th, 2018. And we got a new trading video coming to you. But if you're new to us, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, because we got lots of technical analysis here on crypto in particular. And as always, hit that like button, comment. Would be greatly appreciated too. So let's get right on into it here. I know I haven't made a video in a few days. Real reason is because of the fact that I just can't seem to find the time. I have a lot of commitments, and both personal and also in business commitments as well. And it's just very, very difficult to find the time for these videos. But don't think that I was not thinking about you guys, because I was. I totally think about this all the time. So yeah, I mean, my apologies, but I hope at least from what I've been telling you guys, you've been able to kind of read the markets and make some good decisions as far as what I've shown you as far as techniques are concerned. So I'll try to remember where we left off last, and I think it was somewhere around here, and we were expecting or thinking that the market was going to sell off and pierce below this and possibly make down to this B level here of around 6,000. Clearly, that did not happen, yeah. So let's see why it didn't happen. Okay, let's take a look at it. So. Market came down. We had some big volume come right here. Okay, and remember what I had said? I said, we need volume for this thing to go up, and you don't necessarily need volume for it to go down, but you do need volume for a market to go up. So somebody came in with this big order right here, right? It almost looks algorithmic like, or bot like. I don't believe it was, but because they don't normally act in this manner, but it just, to me, it just looked that way. So somebody bought here, right? In pretty sizable volume in comparison to what was going on here. There was a lot of volume on this candle right here. Okay, and this stopped the market right here at these bottoms, right around this 6,600 level. Okay, somebody was protecting this as it came down again, right? Or peoples were protecting this as it came down. And then again, we had another one right here. Okay, where the market reacted and it moved up quite significantly. Okay, and then we had very little volume. Okay, even very little volume over here too. Very little volume. Right, let me zoom in this a little bit more. Okay, very little volume. Big volume. Very little volume. Again, big volume. Right, and then very little volume. Look how small this volume is. Look how small it is. And then now we're in a point right now where volume should be coming in again to run this thing up, right? If it happened, here, here, and here, right? Yeah, obviously it didn't really happen here in the same size as has happened over here. But even still, this candle was larger than a lot of these candles right here, right? Over here and over here. This candle was larger. So still, it was relatively bigger volume, which ran this up, and the market has quickly sold off. Even here too, when the market ran up, the market then quickly sold off in the coming hours. Right now, we're moving up, right? And it's going to be interesting to see what happens here, because as far as I'm concerned, I would sell this. I would sell this because we are at a place right now we call this 7,100, right, where it's a significant level, right? Over here, over here, over here, over here, right? It's also this kind of this top right here. So I would say that this is a level that needs to be breached in order for us to move significantly higher. And in order for us to move significantly higher, then what do we also have? We have the bottom right here, about 73.40, and also the top right here, okay, about 74, 7,500. Right, so there's a lot of resistance to get through. We also have the bottom of this red line right here that's going to prove to be resistance. However, with all that said, I just start looking for a divergence, right? And what do I see? RSI right here, okay? And again, what does that look like? Right, we have a lower high here, higher, and then a higher, right? And this is going in opposite direction. And this is going in an opposite direction. Let's pull up the unbalanced volume. Okay, let's see how that's doing for us. Yeah, so similar thing going on here. Right, similar thing going on as I zoom in. I want to zoom in here. Again, you know, a higher high here, a lower one here, and then even a more lower one here. Right? So unbalanced volume and RSI are correlated this time, and the market's going in the opposite direction. And that can just last just for so long. So as far as I'm concerned, like if I was going to look to set up a short trade here to sell, you know, I would look at, you know, I would look at Laguerre to go ahead and tie me into this thing. I mean, there's a few different things that I use, but, you know, Laguerre could be a good one and an easy one, right? Where the market would then go ahead, you know, try to sell off a little bit, and then you look for it to kind of break one of these lows over here, and then kind of get in as it continues to go down. And I would look at Laguerre to go ahead and time that short in. So that's one possible way to go ahead and look at this. Another way is that, you know, hey, it could continue to run to the upside. You know, I could be completely wrong. I've been pretty bearish, at times a little bullish, but you know, I could be completely wrong. Maybe this really is the end of the B, right? Maybe this is the B right here. Okay? Maybe this is the B. Maybe we have an A, we had a B, right? Now this has to be 3 waves. It looks very 3-wave-ish. And we have to have a C, which is 5 waves up. So if C is 5 waves up, right? If C is 5 waves up, then what do we have right now? What do we have right now? Let's take a look. Let's take a look. I didn't actually do this beforehand, but I don't know, maybe that's 1, right? Maybe this is 1, this is 2, and we're looking for 3, right? 3, we normally look for a 1-to-1 extension from 1. But this looks like this is dying out, right? This doesn't look very motive wave-like, right? Let me go ahead and take this off here so you guys can see, right? This is supposed to be shooting up. This is the 3rd wave, right? It should look like something like this. Excuse me, right? It should look something like this. This is almost going sideways. It looks like it's going to roll over, right? It looks like it's going to roll over. This almost looks like this could be the 5th wave, right? I'm just going to draw it from down here. I know it's a little different than last time, right? So the first wave could be here, right? I'm sorry, the 3rd wave, we'd love for it to be here, right? But maybe the 3rd wave only got to the 786. And then this is 4, and this was 5, right? Wave 3 doesn't need to be the longest, it just can't be the shortest. And maybe this is wave 5 right here, and then we're going to get a bit of a dump. Maybe that's going to be our C wave that we were looking for. Maybe that's our C wave. That's kind of the way I'm looking at it right now. Because I don't really see, even though I know we have a fair amount of bullishness going on here, it just doesn't look bullish. This looks fake to me. This looks fake right here. This whole area right here. This looks fake. Right here. Okay? Right here. This all looks fake. What's going on here, and this price action looks fake to me there as well. Now, granted, I'm not a big, you know, believer in in chasing, you know, what's going on with people manipulating markets and this, that, and the other thing. Believe me, I'm not. I kind of just ignore all that and just, you know, trade my charts the way I see them. Okay, but and even if the markets are being manipulated or whatever, all markets are manipulated. But even if, let's say, this one's being manipulated the most, right? That seems to be the argument that I always get from people. Well, okay, cool, but don't use it as a reason for not being profitable, because let's say even here, right? We were expecting this thing to fall off, right? But the second this thing moved like this, it's like, oh, we're on a new trajectory. Now I'm going long. Okay, you really have to be able to move that fast. Okay, you can't hold on to what your belief system is. You have to hold on to what you see was going on in the market. So whether this was manipulation or not, this was enough right here to go ahead and set the market on a new trajectory. Why? Because there's so little volume in the market. There's so few people that are trading this compared to before, right? You don't need much to turn the ship anymore. So I'm holding the B down here. You know why? Because I'm thinking maybe could be a crazy thing is that this right here is all part of this B wave, right? You'd have a 1, 2, and a 3 coming down, and it would be all part of this B wave, and then we would have a C coming up. I know it sounds a little nutty, but it just could be. I'm just leaving it out there as a possibility, and there's lots of different possibilities, but I'm leaving that one out there. So if we were really moving to higher highs and this is super bullish, I wouldn't expect this to look like this. Doesn't mean that people can't come behind the market and slowly start pushing, kind of continue to push this thing up. Doesn't mean that the sellers are so exhausted that the only few remaining buyers that are left over are the ones that actually push this market up. Doesn't mean that could not be the case either, right? And that's about as fundamental as I ever get. You know, take it or leave it. But that's that. So let's go ahead and take a look at what else is going on here. Okay, so the 55 EMA and the 200 moving average right now are acting as support of the market, right? We eked above it. This is on a 1 hour basis again, right? Excuse me. We needed this large volume to get above it, right? And then even still, we still kind of fell down below it a few hours later, and then up, down, up, down, up, down. So finally we got above it, and we came back down and we tested it, and now we're moving up again, right? So I'm hoping that this thing does move up. I mean, that's the healthy direction, obviously, of this market. But I'm still holding out the fact that we possibly may be still in this larger, huge downward trend. We really need to go ahead and start taking out, these larger levels. I mean, especially like right here, this band right here, call it from like 9,300, all down here to like 9,000. I mean, we got to get above some like big levels. Besides the fact that we have this, large wedge coming down. Okay, so let's get into some of the support and resistance levels. These here, I don't even remember when we exactly even drew them, but clearly they were being used over here. They were being used over here again, even as recent as right here too. So definitely huge, where resistance then becomes support, right? So let's take a look at the 1 hour. Now we're going to call it support, right? 1 hour support. And this 1 hour support is 7,000. Let's make it an easy 7,000. One hour support, 7,000. Next, 4 hour support, 6,765. Okay, so 6,765. But one of the things I want to tell you guys is that it may change if the candle is still open, but it may change if the market kind of stays right around where it is right now. Maybe if it goes up a bit, that's cool too. To 6,881. Okay. Did I change this? Yes. So that's really about it. Yeah, 4 hour support, 6,765. You know, we see here how this candle right here, you know, touched this right here. So that's something that, you know, makes a lot of sense to me. 1 hour support, 7,000. And yeah, like anything else, you know, we would want these support levels to hold in order for us to continue to move up. All right. So again, there's a few different ways to count this right now. I could be super bearish and call this that this is already 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or I could go ahead and I can say, well, we really are only in like the 1, 2, and this is the 3 coming up. Okay, we're still yet to see the 4 and the 5. So, with that said, oh yeah, one other thing I want to mention to you guys. If anybody has taken that triple B trade, which is right here, right at the close of this candle right here, okay, call it right around 7,000 level, okay, and you rode through all of this, okay, get out. Excuse me. I'm saying for you to get out. The reason why I'm saying for you to get out is because everything I mentioned before about the divergences between RSI and the market, and also on unbalanced volume. I know the market could totally run up north here, okay, but I just don't want anybody coming back to me and say, you know, I took a bad trade, you know, this, that, and the other thing, okay? I don't want to feel liable for any of that, even though that trade was for me and not for you guys. Anyways, because you'd be profitable right here. Another thing I want to mention too is, remember I took this triple B trade and I was like, a super risky thing to do. What I had done was, and I said it would be kind of put your stop loss right around here, around the 6,400 level. Okay, right around the 6,400 level, and I mean it didn't come back down and hit that 6,400 level. I mean it got close, but it didn't get there. And I was also talking about some time ago about trading kind of like swing lows and swing highs, and this is like a beautiful one right here, right? So you kind of, you know, you had this panic coming down, right? And then you had this move back up, right? Which then basically touched this swing low right here. Remember I was mentioning that? And then this could be a great time to go ahead and excuse me, to short it. You know, and you know, and basically have a target right here, right? I mean, there's guys that do this all day long. And yeah, I mean, this would have been like a freaking killer trade right here. Anyways, gotta run. One of my little ones is sick and she's crying upstairs, so I will have to call it an end of the video. Hope you guys have a great night and happy trading.